Hi, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Shout out to everybody in chat. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We'll be having a birthday live stream later on this evening. Hopefully, if the schedule permits. Sorry, I heard myself somewhere else. If the schedule permits, depending. Now, hold up. Let me make sure I got everything correcto. Let me let the people get in here. Good morning. Shout out to everybody. Happy Thursday. Yes, December 4th. Yes, yes, yes. Shout out to everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody. We definitely have some stuff to review here, but I'm waiting for people to get in here because I know it takes a minute for the notifications to go out, and I did move the time frame. Welcome everybody. Welcome. Thank you guys for being here. Shout out to everybody. Let's see. Hold up. What's going on here? As I'm getting some messages as well. Yeah, shout out to everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, that's so cute. Hold up. Thank you. Thank you. Hold up. So much. Sending a message to Rosa. Shout out to Rosa from Twitter. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hi, good morning. Yes, thank you guys. Oh, y'all are amazing. We'll have some music later on so we can, celebrate and, just kind of kick back a little bit and whatnot. Uh, I'm tired, y'all. Welcome. Thank you guys. Thank you. James, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. I got that PayPal. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, love. Definitely. That's gonna go for lunch. Thank you. Birthday lunch. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. Y'all are amazing. Thank you, guys. All right, guys. We about to get started because I definitely have to get the day going. So we're going to talk about Emmanuel Haro, that situation with the stepfather moving the memorial and all that other stuff. We're going to get to that. We're going to talk about a new situation, at least new to the channel, but it's picking up attention. This young 19-year-old girl by the name of Brianna Aguilera. We're going to talk about that from Texas. What is this? Texas A&M, the university. The bizarre circumstances surrounding her death and just everything else that's coming to light. We're going to talk about Rebecca K. Park. Hopefully, we'll be able to finish that last, so let me tell you what happened. Rebecca Case, Rebecca Case, Rebecca Case Park, Rebecca Park. I'm gonna say Rebecca Park. It'd probably be better. Keep saying it over and over. Rebecca Park, her mom, before the arrest, did this interview that was really, really bizarre, and we got to talk about it, y'all. Like another bizarre interview. Are y'all surprised? I'm not. We're going to talk about that. So we're going to get right into it. Oh my goodness, y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Pika. Happy birthday, super chat train. Aw. Thank you so much for the $2, my love. Thank you, my wonderful mod and my beautiful supporter, Pika, my OG mod. M7, my goodness. Happy birthday. I love you so much. You're the highlight of my day. Oh my God, girl, really? Damn. Y'all gonna make me cry. Yeah, listen, we gonna have a party stream. I've already scheduled it, okay? Thank you. Oh my God. Bright Eye, thank you so much for the $4.99. Poetically, thank you so much for the super sticker. Bright Eye again, thank you so much for this. Thank you. Y'all are amazing. Oh my God. All right, y'all. Evil Queen, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Shout out to my another OG follower, Evil Queen's been on the channel for a minute. And my boo Sylvia, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Y'all are amazing. Man, y'all really know how to make somebody feel special. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. We got to get into this case, y'all. I promise. Listen, get it on your time clock. We have a birthday stream tonight. Okay, we're going to listen to some music. I hope you guys join us. You know how we get down on our birthday streams. We play all kinds of music. I'm your DJ. And yeah, I appreciate it. Oh my God. Thank you so much. And happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you. Aw, thank you, my love. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Is it Rach? Not that Rach. Thank you. Oh man. All right, y'all. Stop. 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 Okay, I'll save it for later, okay? I'm sad I have to miss the party stream, but you guys have fun celebrating. Belen, how dare you? All right. We'll be thinking of you, Belen. We'll definitely be calling your name out because girl. We'll be thinking about you. Yes, music. I mean, it's always kind of nice when we do a music jam because it's like, all right, we get to like, for once, we always talk about true crime and other trending news. And for once, we actually get to just chill. Unless I have to move it, but I don't think I have to today. So hopefully we'll have a cute little music jam. We'll bring our music. Y'all make the requests. We'll play music for quite some time. And yeah, we'll need a whiteboard, red string to connect all per usual. After the stream, I plan to go to the mall and get all my freebies, girl, because it is my birthday. Okay, that's what I got. And I hate the mall, but I have to go. Because you gotta get your freebies. Okay, y'all are amazing. Thank you guys. Oh my gosh. Let me stop. Let's get started. All right, we got to get started. Let's talk about Emmanuel Haro. So yesterday I dropped a video and there was a TikToker by the name of Carla. Shout out to her. If y'all have not checked her out, you need to go check her out. Okay. She's one of the ones, along with the young ladies out there. This is Carla's community. Carla feels very passionate about the Emmanuel Haro case. She feels very passionate. And you know what? When somebody feels passionate about that, they want to go above and beyond. And I can completely understand that. There has been some issues with the property, right, where Jake and Rebecca lived and the baby lived. It's believed that this is the property where this child was unalived. If you guys remember the reports where they said that there was like a lot of blood that they found in this property. And so something to keep in mind that this is a place where people feel like he lost his life. So people are going to feel some type of way. There's been memorials out there. I mean, I don't even have to show y'all. Like, people have been gathering and putting flowers and all kinds of things. Okay. So they called the city. Jay Carl's stepdad called the city to basically ask about all these items. He wants these items removed. He wants to, rent his property. Now, I kind of see this two-way, right? Let me be very real. I feel like, that we know of, Jay Caro's stepdad isn't directly involved in this situation. And I could definitely hear a level of frustration in his voice. I feel like he's very frustrated with, he's trying to move on with this life. His family's trying to move on. And even though it's a horrific crime, at the end of the day, it's his stepson, right? So there's this like back and forth that kind of goes in my mind of like, what do you do? That it's a huge memorial. I mean, this case really, y'all, we had people flying in for different YouTubers from different parts of the world flying in to go outside of the home, right? They have plus share. Look at all this. So I can understand that aspect. At the same time, the stepfather, I mean, he doesn't have to appease to anybody. He literally told Carla, you're never going to find him, Emmanuel Haro. You're never going to find him. We're his grandparents. We have a memorial. We will be memorized. We will memorialize him, basically, right? He had words to say. So Carla grabbed her phone like any other, content creator, any other TikToker and YouTuber and whatnot. Some people gave her shit about it because they were giving me shit about it in the comments. And all I said, well, this man wants to rent his property. He has tenants. Clearly, he owns more property, right? And this is a distraction. He feels like this is distracting to his property and whatnot. So he feels like he's in his right to say what he wants. At the same time, is people are going to grieve in different ways. I think it's a horrible situation. I don't necessarily like how abrasive he is in this confrontation, but I understand that this is his property, and maybe they are grieving in a different way than a lot of us probably wouldn't. If that was my property and I'm the grandfather and I'm seeing all these memorials and I'm trying to rent out this property, again, you're renting out a property where potentially this grandchild died. I don't know how I feel about that, but what else is he supposed to do? And he talks about that. But he feels like people are doing the most out there. So I get his frustration, but at the same time, I get the frustration of the community as well, because you can't just say that Jake just killed Emmanuel. Like, I mean, you could, but you can't just blatantly say that this is all that happened when the public was invited to this story to a certain degree. They literally got on camera and they lied to everybody, right? And there's a level of grief that the public has, and the public cared. Sometimes this is that whole verbiage of it takes a village, to it takes a village to help with kids, to raise a family, to raise a child. It takes a village. That is that aspect. That's what this feels like here, is that the village has come together trying to grieve, and they don't know where. So I think the proper thing to do here would be, it's time to somebody to donate, put a donation together and get a little stone, maybe somewhere in a park or in a park bench where people can really bring together their thoughts and their prayers and their emotions and their stuffed animals and their balloons and things like that, and really pay their respects. Because I don't know, y'all, it seems like we're not going to find a body. I don't know. You said, yeah, and he said it was an accident. I think the stepfather, Jake's stepfather, which would be step grandfather, is in denial of a lot, and maybe believing, or at least wanting to eat that narrative up. But I'm only going to play one clip of this. I've already done a video on it. Just listen to the interaction. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Let's see.
I don't know what you guys want.
We want his memory to stay alive.
His memory will stay alive with us, his grandparents, and his nieces and aunts and uncles. There's a lot of us. I promise you, he's never going to be forgotten. But I just don't want people hanging out in front of the house. And if you were in my shoes, you'd say the same thing.
I wouldn't.
Honestly,
I wouldn't.
It's hard because there was a murder that lived in there.
Yeah, but there's murders everywhere.
Unfortunately,
there's
got to be, because if not, it continues to happen to children. It continues to happen. If we can save one person, by doing this law, we can save one person.
He admitted to rolling over and smothering the baby.
He didn't admit to that.
Yes, he did. Oh, hell yes, he did.
He admitted to.
He lied. Even after the circumstances, after he was covering it up. If it was
these ladies have been in court, so they know exactly what they're talking about. And Sophia RN says, if it was an accident, why is he excommunicated Jake? Why did he excommunicate Jake? Jake, then, if he believes that it was an accident, I think that's a good question. That's what they're saying, that they excommunicated. You know what I mean? I think it's, yeah. At some point, I would agree. You said, I went and put a stuffed dino there and a sign to share my love, and it's sad he has no memorial. And maybe, Sophia, maybe it's time for the community to get together and think about a park bench or something where people can pay their respects. There's an opportunity for that. And again, looking at the argument on both sides, y'all, because I don't like how abrasive he is. I don't like how he just said you're never going to find him. I don't like that. That's not helping at all, right? At the same time, he doesn't owe anybody anything. That's just a fact, y'all. He doesn't, right? So he's taking this on a lot. I see this kind of both sides. Kalisa Cat says, the stuffed animals and all that is going to are going to break down, and the stepdad will need to pay for removal as a hazard eventually. At some point, it's going to have to get removed. So it would be good for everybody that gathered and, paid their respects, maybe to think about, where do they want to take this memorial, right? And honestly, in my opinion, I do believe that this is the home where Emmanuel died, where all this evil happened. There's got to be a more neutral spot to put a lot of that energy at, if that makes sense. All that, keeping his memory alive. There's got to be more of a neutral spot, if that makes sense. I said, we tried to do that, even moving to memorial, and people had a heart, damn if we do it. Oh, really? Sylvia, so like they get mad if you, what do you mean? Say more, Sylvia. You say Gabriel Hernandez has a memorial. He doesn't have a gravesite. So does Gabriel Hernandez not have? I thought Gabriel Hernandez had a gravesite, just a memorial. He doesn't have a gravesite. Emmanuel doesn't, right? But Sylvia, say more. Like, I'm wondering about this a little bit more. Thank you so much, Morris. Shout out to you, Morris. Thank you. Thank you. My goodness, Morris. Thank you, love. Shout out to everybody. Thank you guys for the happy birthday wishes. We will definitely be celebrating tonight. Make sure you guys tune in. We'll have some music and everything. That would be amazing. They could ask the local authority for a more permanent memorial. They could. I think they'd have to do something more formal, like petition and stuff like that. But y'all, let me know what you guys think. Sylvia, did they ask you, was it asked for people to move it, and then what happened? Is it possible to have it somewhere else? A bench where the search, yeah, like a bench where the search was at, or somewhere. You said, I think it was, he contacted the county. The county was the one that gave them the permit. Well, he didn't do it. I guess there was somebody else that removed all that and then basically placed all that in the landfill. So it's at a landfill. All these stuffed animals and stuff like that, they're all in a landfill. We tried to rearrange all the items that were there, that were put there, the tents up, and people got pissed off because they said we don't have rights to move any of it, but we knew the city would remove it. Oh. Yeah. Thank you, Pika. Thank you, Pika. You have a good lunch, okay? See, you said, so he tried to keep it on the public street and nice and neat. We knew the city was going to come eventually. We just wish that they would have notified us. That's what the issue is, right? I don't think that I can't speak for all the ladies and all the people in the community, but I don't think that people are upset that it wasn't the fact that it needed to be removed. It was the fact that, like, they could have called the people and allow people to take their items and then figure out where they were going to go from there. I agree with that. I don't think that it was an issue of like, oh, we not, they're trying to destroy the area. I don't think that that's what it is. They would have picked it up. And that's what I heard even Carla said too. I said, I guess a memorial can't be a private property, but in a public property, it can. I guess the memorial can't be in a private property, but in a public property, it can, right? I guess. Oh, I just want to know. Thank you, Just Breathe. What the city do with the toys? They took them to the landfill. They're like, when I watch Murdered by Nature podcast, they said that they took all these items to like the landfill, y'all. So it's sad. It's like, wait a minute. We couldn't like figure out how to, at least call the people to pick up their items, right? You said, I see this both ways. The loss of a rental income, absolutely, for him. And I also see the need to pay bills. So hopefully they can find an appropriate place to put up the permanent memorial for him. He needs a permanent memorial. This child needs a permanent memorial. I mean, look. It's his response, in my opinion, was very cold, very callous, but I think that he's also coming from a place of getting a lot of pushback, maybe a lot of hate, maybe a lot of accusations. He also doesn't do himself a service talking the way that he's talking to, the way in which you're never going to find him. Like, what? Why would you say some stuff like that? Don't say things like that. That doesn't really help the situation. It almost seems to me that the people that, in the community cared more about this baby than the own family. I mean, that's what it seems like. And there's something that Scott said that was really, really telling. He said that Rebecca was only going to get 2 years in probation. So I don't know if he knows something that others don't, or at least because he's closer to the case and whatnot. Yeah, like it makes me sad to see all those toys in the rain. There has to be a better way to do this. You know what I mean? When there's still so many kids out there, who don't have gifts and stuff like that. That's a good point. I'm sad that he can't have a memorial for the people that love him. Now I can't see the city contacting everyone. Yeah, you're right. Like the city's not going to do that. It would have been nice if they had, like, I'm assuming there may be one organizer that might have had the number. And then that organizer can like put a TikTok video out there and say, guys, they're going to remove this stuff. We need to make sure that we remove it at such and such certain time, That's my thought on that. You said, so now we got to call the landfill to see if we can get some of the back to make shadow boxes, but we want to see if we can plant a tree or a plaque or something on the public side. We're contacting the city. That's a great idea. That is a fantastic idea. And that way people can bring, balloons and, well, I don't know if they can bring balloons, but flowers and stuff like that. I think that's a good idea. It's unfortunate that this is where it's at, but yeah, I think he's fed up too and he lashed out. I would agree with that. You said, but it was the Haros that called it to have it cleaned up. It was. They didn't have to do that, but He did. And he said that he lost tenants or something like that. So I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, this is it's too soon, I think, for a lot of people in the community, right? It's too soon. This woman hasn't even been convicted yet, right? Like, well, I mean, she'll have court here next month in January, and we hope for a conviction, but she hasn't formally, she's still there. She has not been formally sentenced or convicted or anything at this point. We got to figure out, where she's going to go from here. Is she going to be offered a plea and whatnot? So it does seem a little bit fast, but at the end of the day, I think it's a stepdad, so he doesn't really. Maybe he doesn't feel that closeness. The thing is, with the stepdad, if you're going to put out that you'll never find the baby, then why isn't he mad enough to say where the baby is? Or why hasn't he asked Jake? If you are to believe what Scott says, and he says that Jake rolled over this baby. Okay, Scott, Mr. Consentino, where's this baby at? Have you asked? He said he sat Jake down and I made him tell me the truth. And he told me the truth. What do you mean? The man wasn't even telling the truth the first time he pled. He said he was not guilty. So what are we doing? I agree. I see both sides of this argument. I do. I also feel like he's one of those, maybe he just wants to move on, put this away, cut people off and move on and pretend like nothing ever happened and he never knew anybody. That's what it seems like to me. And that's unfortunate, but it just, maybe people deal with grief a little bit different. So we're going to keep an eye out. If I hear, Sylvia, if you hear anything, let me know. Cause then maybe we can get people here, if they want to, if whatever you guys decide, whether to call the city or if there needs to be like a donation or a fundraiser for something like that, then we could definitely get together and put something in place so that, there could be a plaque or something, right? For baby Emmanuel. I'm down for it. We can all get together and figure it out. And I don't know what the cost is for that, but we could definitely figure it out. Would you guys be down for that? Put a one in the chat if everybody would be down to for that. Let me know. All right, we are going to we'll keep up with this and see kind of where things go. We do have to move on. We have to talk about we're going to talk about Brianna Aguilera. There's a press conference that happened that it's not Aguilera. There's a press conference that happened, but I need to tell you guys the kind of like breakdown of this situation. Okay, so we're going to do that right now. Young girl. This is her. Okay. I can't believe they hired Tony Busby. Lord have mercy. I cannot believe they hired Tony Busby. Okay, let me stop. Even that just gives me the cringe. Okay. So quick breakdown. Brianna Aguilar, 19 years old, was 19 years old. She was a student at A&M University, Texas. Okay. And on November 29th, not that long ago, hours after a tailgate event for the rivalry game between the Texas A&M and the University of Austin, Texas, she was found unresponsive outside of a student apartment complex near the campus in Austin. Okay. Now, police say that she fell from a 17-story building. The apartment was the 21 Rio building. All right. So then officials from the Austin police said that there's no indication of anything suspicious, any suspicious circumstances regarding her death. Okay. This is why it was not classified a homicide. According to police, there was a deleted S note, okay, on her phone from days before her death, as well as messages and other digital evidence suggesting that she had previously expressed S thoughts. All right. So as of now, my understanding is that the case is still under investigation. They're pending a autopsy, but the family has come forward and basically contested very, very early on now. And they said that they have a very strong suspicion about what happened to her, and they're fully rejecting what the police has put out there. Brianna had these big plans, okay? She was looking forward to graduating. She was going to take the LSAT. The girl was going to be a lawyer, y'all. She was going to be a lawyer, going to law school, okay? She had her phone, which she never apparently does, on Do Not Disturb the night that she vanished. And her mother says that that was just very suspicious and uncharacteristic of her. They believe that the police investigation is flawed, even though it's so early on. They had a press conference this morning, so we're going to watch right now. They have hired Tony Busby and the Games law firm as well to look into the investigation. They believe there has been foul play and circumstances have been mischaracterized. The question is, who and what are they protecting if that is the case? Okay. Let's get into this press conference that we are about to watch just this morning. So we are very much early on. I'm going to put the closed captions in there, and I'm going to speed it up to 1.25. Okay. So people don't get mad at me. It might be a little bit, well, we could put it 20. Okay. Hold up. Not too slow. There we go. It's only 60 minutes long.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. First, I want to offer my deepest condolences to Brianna Aguilera's family, friends, and loved ones. I stand before you as the chief of police, but first and foremost as a mother. I have 3 daughters and a son, and I cannot begin to imagine the pain that Brianna's family is feeling. As a parent, none of us want to contemplate the loss of a child, and again, my heart aches for them. Before I turn this over to our lead detective, I want to be clear about a few things. It is not common for a police department to speak publicly about a death by suicide. But inaccurate information has circulated and been reported. And that has led to additional harm of innocent people, bullying included, and their families. There have also been statements suggesting the police have failed to do our jobs. Those statements are not accurate. I understand how grief and the need for answers can raise intense emotions and many questions.
Okay, stop. I have not watched this. Condolences. And then she goes, as a mother, but there's a lot of bullying going on to the people to people. Okay, let's get into this. Let's figure this out, because I'm already not liking, and maybe it's because she's sped up, but I'm already not liking the feeling that I'm getting from the blue uniform at this point. I'm just letting you know, I'm not liking it. I'm not.
But sometimes the truth doesn't provide the answers we are hoping for, and that is this case. Please know that careful investigations take time. We must interview witnesses, collect evidence, and piece together facts. Releasing partial information too early can jeopardize the integrity of that case. I want to assure everyone that our team worked around the clock. These guys do not sleep. They worked around the clock on this case. And many of them are parents themselves. We used every available resource, interviewed numerous people, gathered evidence, because we too want to understand what happened to Brianna, who was clearly loved by so many. I want to thank our homicide unit and victim services for their thorough work on this investigation and providing support for everyone that has been involved. I'm now going to turn it over to Detective Marshall, who will walk us through the timeline.
First, I'd like to start off by saying that our deepest sympathies and condolences go out to Brianna and her family. During this investigation, I've had a chance to speak with numerous members of her family and friend group, both here in Austin and College Station and in Laredo. All of them, it's completely apparent that she was very much loved. Every friend and witness during this investigation has been nothing but forthcoming and open during the entire time I've spoken with them. I've been in contact with dozens of people over the past week, and every single one of them has answered my calls, my text, submitted to interviews, and helped give answers from the moment that I've asked for that help. This also includes several people submitting to second interviews freely and without hesitation. The location this happened at, the 21 Rio Apartments, have also been helpful since the very beginning of this investigation. They've allowed us around-the-clock access to the apartment which Brianna was last seen at, as well as access to their internal camera system, which has been very beneficial in establishing a timeline of that evening's events. On Saturday, November 29th, at approximately 12:46 a.m., the Austin police officers responded to a call of a deceased person located at 2101 Rio Grande Street. The decedent, later identified as Brianna Aguilera, was located on the ground with trauma consistent to having fallen from a higher floor. Brianna was pronounced deceased at 12:56 a.m. I, along with crime scene specialists, responded to process the scene and interview witnesses. A witness informed officers that they had heard a sound of a thud and then observed a female on the ground. Initially, it was unknown who the decedent was and on what floor she had fallen. The medical examiner arrived on scene and the body was taken to the medical examiner's office where she was later positively identified. In the meantime, I was able to contact one of the employees at the 21 Rio Apartments at approximately 6 a.m. that same morning. The staff at 21 Rio were cooperative throughout this entire investigation. By approximately 10 a.m., we were able to access the camera's system inside the apartment complex. Just after 11 p.m. on Friday, November.
Okay, that wasn't me. I was like, I think that their feed was off for a little bit. My goodness, thank you so much, Shant, for the super chat. Late for the B-Day Prize segment, but better late than never. Thank you so much. Thank you for your consistency and fairness. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I just the only concern that I have, y'all, like it's still an investigation. So if they're not going to speak on it, then that's fine. Don't let them speak on it. But already, I think that, did she have an S note before she died? She deleted it, changed her mind? Did something else happen that triggered it? There's just so many answers. I feel like if you're going to say that you don't believe it's S, don't say it until you 1000% know it. Does that make sense? Like, that's my thought on that. And thank you, Soul Power. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you. Membership for 6 months. Thank you, love. Y'all are amazing. Thank you, guys. Again, we'll be celebrating later on tonight, guys. Make sure you guys join us, okay? We'll have some music and stuff like that.
November 28th, and that she went into a specific apartment on the 17th floor.
That's right.
Video surveillance has confirmed that a large group of friends left that same apartment at 12:30 a.m. on November 29th, leaving just Brianna and 3 other girls in the apartment. Now, on Saturday, November 29th, at approximately 12:54 p.m., I, along with patrol officers, made contact with the residents of that specific apartment that Brianna had been observed going into. The residents informed me that they were trying to report that their friend Brianna was missing. I was able later to confirm they had in fact placed a 911 call at 12:14 p.m. earlier that afternoon to report their friend Brianna was missing. They informed me that they were hosting friends for the Texas A&M football game and that Brianna was supposed to be staying there that preceding evening. I spoke with 3 different female witnesses on scene, as well as later a 4th witness who had left earlier that morning. The investigation showed that Brianna had been at a tailgate party earlier in the day and became intoxicated to a point that she was asked to leave the same tailgate. She had told her friends that she had lost her phone at some point near that tailgate. They had all returned to the apartment where Brianna borrowed a phone of a friend to call an out-of-town boyfriend. Witnesses heard Brianna arguing on the phone with her boyfriend, which was also confirmed later by the boyfriend. Phones from both the phone Brianna used and the boyfriend's phone have confirmed through call logs that call did occur. Now, this call occurred at approximately 12:43 to 12:44 a.m., approximately 1 minute. This is 2 minutes before the 911 call of the body found down below on the pavement. On Saturday, November 29th, it was found that Brianna's mother, Stephanie Rodriguez, had called the Austin Police Department at 12:50 p.m.
Okay.
This was in an attempt to locate Brianna. Rodriguez called back an hour later.
So she last spoke to the boyfriend? Am I hearing this correctly? That was the last call was to the boyfriend? I hope I heard that correctly. Put a 1 in the chat. I don't know if just want to make sure I understood that.
2 p.m. stating the location of her daughter's missing phone. The phone was located by Austin police officers in a wooded area by 3:30 p.m. that afternoon near Walnut Creek in a field by the Austin Rugby Club. Through this investigation, it was found that Brianna had attended the tailgate on Friday, November 28th at the Austin Rugby Club, arriving between 4 and 5 p.m. and then leaving at approximately 10 p.m. Witnesses stated that after Brianna was asked to leave the tailgate, she had repeatedly dropped her phone and staggered into a nearby wooded area where her phone and other items were later located by Austin police. Just after 4 p.m. on Saturday, November 29th, officers from the scene paged homicide to inform them that they had located the property belonging to Brianna and determined that there was also a separate deceased person call with the same name. Rodriguez was notified of Brianna's death just before 5 p.m. Brianna's phone was placed with the rest of her property still on the 17th floor of the apartment for her family to later receive.
How did the phone end up in a different area though? And I could see this, right? You black out to the point that you're so I mean, clearly she was intoxicated enough. She left the party or had to leave a party, right? Being intoxicated to the point where you leave. But that's the question. Was it accidental? Was it on purpose? And that's what I'm like saying. Why are they? This is the part that I have a question about. Is it an accidental death, a self-deletion, or a homicide or a murder? Like, that's what we want to know, right? It's seeming like we can't even really land on that quite yet. But they early on are saying that they don't believe that she's self-deleted. My God, Jay Boopsy, thank you so much. Thank you. Membership for 3 months. Thank you, love. And shout out again to Soul Power. Y'all are amazing. Thank you guys for the birthday wishes. We'll be live tonight again, just reminding you guys so y'all can come over.
On Monday, December 1st, the mother and father Brianna met with victim services and those of us in the homicide office at police headquarters. There, Rodriguez turned over Brianna's phone and gave it back to us. A further review of Brianna's phone shows a deleted digital suicide note dated Tuesday, November 25th, which was written to specific people in her life. From the moment this call originated up until now, between all of the witness statements, all of the video evidence, and all of the digital evidence collected, at no time did any evidence point to this being anything of a criminal nature. Rather, our investigation has revealed that unfortunately Brianna had made suicidal comments previously to friends back in October of this year. This continued through the evening of her death with some self-harming actions earlier in the evening and a text message to another friend indicating the thought of suicide. We recognize that hearing news like this can be difficult and may affect members of the community in very personal ways. If you or someone you know is experiencing emotional distress or mental health struggles, support is available. You can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, or contact Integral Care's 24-hour helpline at 512-472-HELP.
So she was experiencing, like, she was already showing signs of ideation. Like, she was struggling already, y'all. And I would think so too, Kalisa Katz, that alcohol, being a depressant would have totally exacerbated those feelings a lot more, right? It is very sad. So she texted her mom as she was fighting with those friends and then slapped one of the friends. Is that what she did? She was not getting along with people at the party, right? She was to the point so intoxicated. So I wonder if that just kind of pushed it over to the edge. Were there any signs that she was pushed or did she just fall? I guess I'm just the question. The thing about this that makes I understand why they went to the S part right away is because of the simple fact that she was already displaying this behavior earlier in the year. In October, you have this deleted S note. I wonder, there were probably signs before that. You know what I mean? Yeah, alcohol can loosen the tongue. Absolutely.
That's 512-472-4357 to be connected with local crisis services, including mobile response teams. No one should have to navigate these kind of crises alone. Questions?
Now open it up for questions.
Oh, you want to
Couple things. Was the mom made aware of these previous suicidal comments when you guys figured that out during the investigation? And I know a big part of this is trying to have online speculation, so just wanted to bring up something that people have brought up about concerns about fights that Brianna may have gotten in with other people in that department.
Sure. The first part first. I was in contact with Brianna's mother beginning Saturday afternoon. We spoke through Sunday and Monday through the meeting here. Since then, I've attempted 4 times to contact her, I wanted to share this information privately. She did not reply to any of my attempts to talk to her until yesterday afternoon, where she asked me to talk to her lawyer. So I've not been in contact.
Tony Busby, y'all. Tony, I don't know about Tony Busby. I don't like Tony Busby. I'm letting you guys know right now. I do not like Tony Busby already. You say that name, and I'm already running for the hills. Yeah, I saw that Nancy Grace spoke to the mom. And she might have said some other information. So mom really believes that that the police is looking at this in a different way, and they should utilize it. Okay, and I have to watch the interview clearly, but okay, let's keep going. I want to understand why mom feels this way. And she could have been fighting with her friends, but also the fighting could have exacerbated those feelings as well. And then she's drinking.
With her mother. However, her father I have been in contact with. He knows all this information as of yesterday. And then secondly, the fight. Yeah. There have been online reports of a fight. The only evidence that we have of any kind of physical altercation was Brianna punching one of her friends as they tried to help her out of the party. We have no evidence of any other altercation.
Did the witnesses that y'all talked to give any reason why they didn't call 911 earlier that night?
So most of those witnesses, between the time of night that it was, they slept for some periods of time. They do have some text messages. They were worried. They assumed because so many friends from their hometown were here in Austin staying at different locations, they had assumed she probably just went back out with another friend group that was in the immediate area, and just nobody had any idea.
Did anyone watch her go over the balcony?
No, ma'am. No, we have no evidence to suggest that.
Can you share more about that deleted note that you mentioned? When was that deleted, and do you have information about how that was deleted?
So that phone is currently with our digital forensics units to be processed. It is being processed as of last night. I just know the date of it. I don't know exactly when it was typed, but I found it in the deleted items folder, and that's about all I can say at this point.
The date from the deleted item was from November the 25th, so it appears that's when it was written.
In the absence of the chatter that happened online about this, how would you have handled this investigation?
I hated the chatter probably as much as her family and everybody, and the living witnesses hate it. The problem is I can't make a public statement until I interview everyone, and several of these people we had interviewed 2 times. Video takes hours and hours, not only to get, but then to go through and process and look at. Her phone takes hours to go through. I've never been a part of an investigation that's happened as fast as I wanted to. We always wanted to go faster, but in this case, so many people knew her, so many people wanted to help us. Just to dig through all that information, unfortunately, it has taken 3 or 4 days.
How certain would you say y'all are? Certain y'all are in this determination?
Just every investigation, we have to rely on the evidence, and all evidence in this case is indicative of suicide.
Can you share a little bit more about who was inside the apartment at the time that she fell?
So he just said all the evidence is indicative of suicide of the S. All right, so I want to ask you guys a question. I do have Rebecca K. Park's interview with the family. This was several days ago. But then we also have the Nancy Grace interview with mom. What do you guys, for the sake of time, we can only do one. Do y'all want to watch it? Maybe we'll do a poll. Like, let me know what you guys think. We have to be able to just choose one because they're both pretty lengthy, and I don't even think we'll get through both of them or one of them. Let me hit play on this.
And were you able to speak with all of those people?
I won't share their names, obviously. Yes, I've been able to speak with every single person in there. All of them multiple times, actually, throughout this. They were just all friends. Again, this is all a large friend group from Laredo.
Is there anything that you can share about what she was last seen wearing? I've heard from a couple of people that they were questioning some of the wardrobe that was seen after the fact.
I'll speak to that. She was found wearing the same stuff she was wearing at the tailgate. Part of the reason it took 4 hours for the video surveillance, she was wearing something slightly different when she arrived back to the apartment. So that kind of threw things off to actually locate her. But she was wearing the exact same stuff from earlier in the meeting.
It took a bit, I would say, to notify the mom. Was that because y'all had to go through any and do the identification, or what kind of was that?
Sure. Yeah, it took a while to positively identify her, but on top of that, as Detective Marshall had mentioned, about around 2 p.m. on that Saturday is when they'd actually set the gears in motion to try to notify her. So she had called about 12:50, and she was notified that same afternoon.
I'll take 2 more questions.
You mentioned an argument with her boyfriend before her death. How soon did that happen before her death? And were you able to make contact with him as well?
So I have spoken with him multiple times. That phone call happened approximately 2 minutes before the 911 call of her reporting her on the sidewalk.
Part of her mom's questioning is that you talked to friends or people that were in the apartment until Sunday. Can you, maybe you said it in the timeline.
They're asking about the 2 friends.
We first identified the apartment very late morning, early afternoon on Saturday. We talked to them immediately that very same time. And like I said, since then, we've spoken multiple times to everyone that was in the apartment.
she is 19 and underage, and for any people, just gotta ask, any people being investigated?
Yeah, 19 and drinking.
That would be a better question for Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission, TABC. I've been in very brief contact with them, but I
There you
don't know the
go.
status of anything that they're doing.
19 and drinking. Oh my God. All right, hold up. Anybody else talk? I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. The poll is split, y'all. Let me see. No, it's not. Okay, so I see what's leading right now is the interview with Brianna's mom. We're definitely going to circle back on the Rebecca K. Park case, probably in another live stream. But let's get into this interview. I've already pulled it up. I'm seeing that it's leading at this point, and it's 45 votes. Sorry, guys, we're going to move on to this. But we will follow up, okay? Just so you're aware on Rebecca K. Park, because I'm interested in Rebecca K. Park as well and bringing some more awareness to that situation. And just listen, I was even doing some digging afterwards. Come to find out that Courtney's husband is also an SO. The fiance and the stepfather are SOs. Y'all can make this ish up. So I did speed it up because y'all, I can only take Nancy in doses. But I know some of y'all like her. I get it. But for me, I can only take her in doses. So we are going to review this. I sped her up right where mom is about to talk. So we are going to start right here. Nancy Grace, chill. I've never seen that, man. No. Probably no. Nebby, thank you again for thank you for this birthday super sticker. Thank you. And Emily, thank you. Happy birthday. Mama Bunny, thank you. Y'all remember, join us tonight. Just wanted to let y'all remind you, join us tonight. We'll have some good music and we'll have a chat. Let's get into this now.
If you see the rail, Miss Nancy Grace.
Okay, wait. I want to start right where she starts speaking on the call. There's Nancy. She's got that look.
Where she is hurled off 17 floors. By the way, she's so afraid of heights. There's no way she'd get out on that balcony. She would not even ride the roller coaster at Disney.
Oh, okay. Mom's already on. Hold up. So mom is saying that her daughter was afraid of heights. Okay.
How did you learn that, Miss Rodriguez?
Okay, let me go back a little bit. Hold up. Miss Rodriguez. This is when she starts maybe talking here.
Probably turn up in the morning.
Okay.
Evening, we enjoyed.
Oh, so it's the whole thing. All right. Here we go.
That there's nothing suspicious about this case. And I call BS.
Oh, damn.
Joining us tonight is a very special guest, a woman I've looked forward to speaking to. It's Brianna Aguilera's mother, Stephanie Rodriguez. Ms. Rodriguez, thank you for being with us.
Hello, thank you.
Nancy is intense, man. Wow, okay.
I do not believe your daughter, your beautiful girl, committed suicide. I want to start at the beginning. She came home for Thanksgiving. She had a wonderful time. She was happy, and she wanted to go to this big Longhorn showdown, big rivalry football game. What happened?
So she came home for Thanksgiving. We enjoyed it. You know, she was a great big sister. She took her little brothers to the movies. She liked being happy. She was the life of the party. Entertained my fiance and I a whole night singing Phantom of the Opera, singing Wicked. You know, it was nothing out of the ordinary for me. This was the last thing that I was ever expecting to happen to my daughter. And so she left the early morning hours of Friday to the tailgate party. And she texted me when she got there. We had a rule. You get there, you text me, you call me, you don't put your phone on Do Not Disturb, and you don't turn off the location, especially because it's Austin. I was very worried about it. My fiance and I were actually going to travel up there with her to watch the game because we're big, huge football fans, as so is Brianna. And A&M has been undefeated up until that game. And, you know, something just said, like, we need to go with her. But we were exhausted. I'm a travel nurse, and he works out of town, too, traveling also. So we just didn't make it. You know, we said, okay, well, no, we'll watch her from home. but please be safe. You know, text us if anything. Text us if anything. Don't trust anyone. And she said, yes, Mom, I know. So shortly, one thing led to the other. You know, she FaceTimed me the way that we had rules, showed me her outfit, was excited, was happy to be in Austin with her friends. But then shortly after 4 p.m., which was the last conversation I had with her, at 6 p.m., her phone went on Do Not Disturb, which to me was skeptical because that was one of our rules. But, you know, I had her on location, so I knew her whereabouts. Around 11 p.m., once the game was done, and she still didn't reply, she still didn't answer, that's when I started to grow more suspicion of what's going on. Her phone was still pinging in the same area, but it was pinging closer towards the woods, because where the Rugsby Complex Center is, the creek is right next to it. And of course, everyone's heard of the Lady Bird like murder in Austin. And so, you know, I of course I'm scared. You know, my daughter's little, she doesn't know how to defend herself. And I just said, something's not right. So I made a call to Austin PD and I said, look, I'm looking for my daughter. She's not answering. She's not picking up. Can you please send someone to go and check the property, like whatever's going on, just to make sure that she's okay, or that she didn't lose her phone, or that she's not, you know, passed out by a creek. And so they told me that I had to wait 24 hours before I could file a missing persons report. I said, you all cannot even do a welfare check? And they said, no. I said, well, I have the location where she's at. So they said, no, she's probably intoxicated, and, you know, she'll wake up and she'll call you in the morning.
Whoa. Stephanie, wait a minute. So
Nancy, tell them. She's 19 years old. She's probably intoxicated. She'll wake up. That's what the officer told her. Please tell me that these calls are recorded for quality control purposes, and you can FOIA that and put that out there. If I'm calling the police and I'm telling you I'm worried about my daughter, and you're telling me, well, she's probably intoxicated, we're going to have a problem. Okay, go look for her. Go figure it out, because clearly I need help. What are we doing? Mother's intuition? Maybe. Yeah, 17 stories. That is insane. That is, but okay, let's go.
Austin PD tells you she's probably drunk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then she'll probably turn up in the morning.
Lying on the PD steps, screaming. You see your daughter's phone pinging near a creek?
Yeah, clearly I had a Nancy moment right there, because she just said exactly. I didn't even watch this. We just thought alike in here, because this is what you do.
She's not supposed to be near a creek.
No.
Wasn't the phone found in one of the friends' purse?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Because I gave them the coordinates.
Why?
And I gave them the location.
Why would Brianna give her phone to a friend? I mean, you can't pry the phone out of my twins' hands. That would not happen.
Exactly. She never did. And that's what to me was very, very skeptical. And I didn't believe it when they told me the following day that I still prompted Austin PD to go and try to look for my daughter, because this had already happened. By the time that I was calling in again, my daughter had already been deceased for hours and I was not notified.
When did you find out that your daughter had passed?
I found out Saturday, that same Saturday at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. After they had already done a search in that area, found my daughter's phone in her friend's purse. After they instructed me to call all the jails in Austin. I'm not familiar with the area. To begin with, I don't like that city. And I had already called all the hospitals to make sure that she hadn't been, sent in or was injured or whatnot.
So wait a minute. Let me understand, Mrs. Rodriguez, that the PD had you calling jails looking for your honor student grad that was on an accelerated program to get through undergrad, to get to law school. They told you to call the jails and the hospitals, and all the time your daughter is in the morgue?
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
I don't know whether to scream or to cry right now. So, okay. When did they finally call you? What did you say?
Oh, shit.
When I got the news, that's exactly what I did. I yelled. I said, it's not true. You have the wrong person. How come no one has come to tell me? How come no one has notified me? I mean, I mean, how can a person be deceased? She had been pronounced dead around 12:56 to 1 a.m. in the morning.
This is the kind of stuff, y'all. This is why when law enforcement or these officials do not understand this, like this is why conspiracy theories start. Honestly, this is why people have the disdain and maybe even the, like, oh man, I don't know if I trust this or that or the other. It's because of this. This situation is a good example when this young girl was already gone. Like that's the part that makes it so difficult for people to have trust in the police. It's a good example right here.
And this is already 4 p.m. that same day in the afternoon. How come? And the friends already knew, yet he instructed all the friends not to talk to me. And I was calling them like crazy. I was calling
Who instructed the friends not to talk to you?
The detectives instructed the group of friends that he supposedly interviewed. He instructed them not to answer my phone calls.
Oh Busby already won this case, y'all. I'm sorry. Like, what? The detective told the friends, don't call mom? What? Is this true? Did this really happen? Oh my God.
How did you learn that, Ms. Rodriguez?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
He told us in the interview that we had on Monday.
Why? What is his reasoning for the friends not speaking to you?
He just said that it was an ongoing investigation and he didn't want me to portray anything other than, I guess, to think what I'm actually thinking is that one of them shoved my daughter off that balcony.
Isn't it true, Ms. Rodriguez, that your daughter was texting you and telling you just before her death, where she is hurled off 17 floors? By the way, she's so afraid of heights. There's no way she'd get out on that balcony. She would not even ride the roller coaster at Disney.
I don't like roller coasters either. This don't sound right. Now I understand why the PD had to do a press conference today. Y'all see that? Now I had not watched this. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys had seen, because I had not seen this. Put a 2 in the chat if you did not watch this and you're watching it with me. Now I understand why the PD had to hurry up and do a presser this morning. I get it. My goodness. Hold up. I got to put a little stop because I don't want to get too behind. Survived by the Kool-Aid. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Appreciate it. Thank you, Kelly. Happy birthday, gorgeous. Thank you, my love. And Dr. Edward, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all are amazing. Thank you. Let me go ahead and hit this now.
She would not. All the friends went over and over and over, and she waited down on the ground because she's afraid of heights. Isn't that true?
Yes, it is. She never got on roller coasters. She wouldn't even go on a cruise. We had actually planned a cruise for this Thanksgiving, and I had to cancel it because she absolutely said, I'm not going to go. Like, what if I fall off? She was
didn't
very
want to go on a cruise because she was afraid?
involved, and she was always on TikTok, and she knew a lot about everything, especially studying law. And she was at the Bush School in Texas A&M. And she was like, no, Mom, I'm not going to. Have you not seen those videos of people that fall over the rail and they drown? And she was just, no, she wouldn't have it. And that's why I have a very hard time believing why this detective says, well, she accidentally fell. If you see the rail, Miss Nancy Grace, my daughter was a short person and she was a small frame girl. There's no way. She took a picture of.
She had a fear of heights or roller coasters, and that would have been my biggest fear. Like, this is how she died? That makes no sense.
Herself with the other girls, and the rail is up to her shoulder. Someone had to have picked her up and pushed her over.
Listen.
Austin PD recovers Brianna's phone, though they haven't said where, returning the device to her grieving mother. Stephanie says her daughter's texts indicate she got into a fight with one of the other girls staying at Rio 21 Friday night. When she highlights the texts to an officer, he tells her they are not investigating Brianna's death as a homicide.
I just want them to stop saying that they're not treating this as a homicide case. Someone did something to my daughter.
That from WOAI. I'm very curious, Ms. Rodriguez. Your daughter's phone was found in the purse of one of her friends. Where was the purse?
The purse was by the creek next to the complex center where the tailgate party was at.
So someone put the phone in the purse and threw it down toward a creek.
Someone took the phone from my daughter, put it on Do Not Disturb, and somehow ended up by a creek. Yes.
Who had the password? Who had the code to put the phone on Do Not Disturb? And then the last phone call was with the boyfriend. That's weird. That's definitely weird, in my opinion. Why Do Not Disturb? Does she always put her phone on Do Not Disturb? Is that a thing? Wow.
Also, there was a fight between Brianna Aguilera and friends just before her death.
Yes, there was a fight between Brianna and her friend. Well, what I thought was her friend. And it's clear in day and night because her boyfriend was the one stating, that there had been an altercation between her and Brianna because she kept sending videos to Brianna's boyfriend, Aldo, of Brianna being around other guys. But
you know what, guys? And these are the friends. Let me tell you something, all right? And I hate to put it this way, but if I was mom, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it because this is giving me with the friends. I'm sorry. Some of y'all may not agree. You said the mom just side. Was it in the purse in the woods or was it in the friend's possession? Where was the phone? I hope she's not criminal research, but when I hear a story like this, altercation with friends, I can't get Shanquella Robinson out of my head. I am literally traumatized by Shanquella Robinson in that video that went viral where all the friends were beating her up. Well, the friend was beating her up and it went viral and everybody saw it and she basically died. I just can't, man. So I have to kind of wonder. I hope that that's not the case and I hope that they figure this out, that nobody's lying here, but this is okay. Like literally. You said she's giving criminal researcher. Where did you hear something that different? Let me know where you heard something different. You said, no, the mom only said it was inside the friend's purse near the creek. Anytime I hear friends drinking, I think of Shanquella Robinson, y'all. I really, really do.
I mean, it's a tailgate party. It's not all going to be all women, And I think at this point, it was just consistently jealousy. They were jealous of my daughter. I had already told Brianna, I never liked those two girls that she was hanging out with. Her boyfriend didn't like them either, and a lot of people in Brianna's friend group didn't like them, which prompted a lot of people not to even go to that tailgate party with my daughter because they didn't have a good feeling about those two girls. They took her phone away and one thing led to the other.
Now, there was a fight that happened between my daughter and another girl, and they were all staying in the same apartment that I have actual text messages of, and the detective he disregarded them.
Brianna's friends are questioned for the first time at 1 p.m. Saturday, more than 12 hours after she was found dead. The friends were allowed to come and go from the apartment as they pleased and had plenty of time to get their story straight. Stephanie says the group of 14 refuses to speak to her, and the person who lives there has now vacated the apartment.
Yeah.
That from KSAT 12.
I want to look at mom, like criminal researcher. I'm going to look into mom's statement more directly because you're saying she's giving it. I'm going to look into it. Okay. And I want to do a video where I'm able to, because like I said, I'm new to this case. I want to hear exactly what mom is saying and make a comparison. Is this a situation where again, they threw the self-deletion there, right? Okay. Alcohol. Okay. Mom's not talking about anything about her mental health in this interview yet. I'm not done with it. Okay. But she's not saying anything. Self-deletion. Somebody did this to her or accidental. I don't know.
With me is Brianna's mother, Stephanie Rodriguez. Miss Rodriguez, isn't it true that there was a physical altercation between the so-called friend who's so jealous of your daughter and Brianna?
According to the text messages that her boyfriend showed me, and we actually have photos of them, Brianna slapped one of her friends because she kept sending her boyfriend video footage of my daughter being at the tailgate party around other guys. From there on, I don't know what happened. According to the text messages, she just said, I'm done with her. I'm not going to do this. And, you know, it leads on to, it's more of like I'm not going to deal with her anymore. And one thing led to the other.
After the altercation that this friend had with Brianna, what happened?
They still take my daughter back to the apartment because the detective said that he has video surveillance of my daughter, you know, walking in to the apartment. She was still walking, you know, she wasn't being carried or anything. Yeah, she was being held a little bit by the shoulder, but not more than 20 minutes passed by and 14 people walk into that apartment. And within like 20 minutes or less, they all walk out and my daughter is dead 10 minutes later.
I want you to listen to a newly discovered witness.
From what I heard, it sounded like somebody was being taken advantage of, and there was a party going on around her, and like nobody cared. I walk around the corner, I get on Rio Grande, I hear a girl saying, "Get the fuck off me! Get the fuck off of me! Get the..." And then it was like a muffled like scream at the
What is that?
top of her lungs. It was like almost as if, like, you know that sound when like somebody put a pillow or something over your mouth? That's what I heard.
That from Jay Pizzle on TikTok.
I'll see what I can FOIA. I don't know what I'll be able to FOIA, but I'll see what I can FOIA. If it's still an open investigation, it's very likely we won't be able to pull documents quite yet. But I do want to see the police investigation, the notes, what they've said, what they found, and then everybody's statement. The fact that this is what mom said. Mom said that she tried to contact the friends and the friends were told not to speak to mom because they didn't want mom to blame them or that to me is off, but okay.
Have you heard that witness testimony, Ms. Rodriguez?
I actually heard that last night. And so my fiance and I, you know, obviously this has been a very tragic loss for me. I just finished planning my daughter's funeral yesterday, making arrangements. And we actually Googled, and he actually searched up the person, the owner of that apartment. And what's funny is that he says that like she was being covered with a pillow, and those are my daughter's words. Like when she was upset, and she never cursed, but yes, I believe that was her yelling, because we found a picture of the owner of the apartment, and in one of the photos that she has, she does have a patio set, and there's 3 pillows on that couch.
A lot of people are not buying the claim of suicide along with Ms. Rodriguez. What will it take for Austin PD to come to their senses?
It was ruled a suicide, but there's a lot of people that are obviously asking a lot of questions about what could have happened here, right? I mean, she was there for the game in town, and then all of a sudden that's the ruling on this. Now, there's a lot of people who have different opinions on what happened. That's one of the reasons why we're doing this story, because we want to know what you think, because it is strange, right? Of course, we don't know for sure, but according to those initial reports, this is what happened. So Aguilera's mom has said on social media she didn't think that her daughter was suicidal or anything like that. So she is very suspicious as well.
That's from Robbie C_TV on Instagram. That's just one of hundreds of citizens speaking out that something stinks. Yet Austin PD is digging in that there's nothing odd at all here. Ms. Rodriguez, is it true that not only are none of the friends answering your calls or trying to comfort you, did any of them come to her funeral? And is it true?
Well, to be fair, like, were they invited to the funeral? I don't know but listen, yo, like, I go back to Shanquella Robertson. I'm sorry, the friends, these demons that did this to Shanquella Robertson flew from Mexico all the way to go face the parents and tell them about, you know, we're sorry. And then they left and they never were contacted again. They just shut up because they knew what the hell happened. They just didn't think that it would have been filmed. So I'm not surprised that they wouldn't have attended or show up to any funeral at all. And if they did, I don't know how I'd feel about that. I'm just going to be honest with you.
That the person living in the apartment left.
Yeah, I have the 2 friends that I believe were involved in this altercation with my daughter and might have had the power of shoving her body out that balcony floor. They tried to contact me Sunday in the afternoon.
Interesting.
But by that time, I didn't need to talk to them, Ms. Nancy Grace. What for? They should have called me in those messages, the boyfriend keeps telling them, call her mom, call her mom, call her mom. I did not receive not one call. Still, Saturday morning, he's still asking, where's Brianna? And they're like, we don't know. And then it goes further on to detailed messages saying that the girl's parents were aware that my daughter was missing. And they said, well, it's not our responsibility, to make the call to 911. So finally, I guess someone cracks down and they call 911 and they learn about the death of my daughter before me. This is around like 10 a.m. No one calls me. No one says anything. I learn about it until 4 p.m. when clearly, they knew. They already knew. And the detective had instructed them not to answer my calls, not to call me, not to notify me. So when I questioned him on Monday, he said, well, it's protocol. We tell especially young people like that. And I said, well, what do you explain? How can you explain to me why the person that was living in that apartment vacated? And he said, how do you know that? And I said, because one of the friends tried to reach out to me to tell me
Wow.
that, my daughter's things were in her car. They had given the keys to some random stranger. And that person didn't even want to show his face when my sister showed up to pick up my daughter's key, to pick up the car. Austin PD did a horrible job. They released my daughter's phone to her friend. And we actually voluntarily gave it back to them so they could search.
Wait. They released her daughter's phone to the friends? Why would they do that? Why would they release her? That's what?
Shit for evidence. And, all of this just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And when I asked them, how is it that, so then the person that was living in the apartment, why did she leave? Because in the message I have from the friend, it says clearly the apartment was emptied out. She left. She moved out. Yet I have the father on Monday trying to call me to give me an explanation why his daughter moved out.
What was his explanation?
I didn't talk to him. At that point, I was like, I'm going to lawyer up. I'm not going to hear any more of these stories. I'm not going to deal with this. There's so many inconsistencies, and Austin PD and that detective Marshall, all he said was, well, it's very traumatic, what happened. So it's not normal for a person to move out. And I told him,
The problem is that the question becomes did they treat this as just an investigation, or did they just assume early on that this is what she did, that she wanted to self-delete? This is the issue with a lot of these cases where you do have somebody who's young. She might be displaying, suicide ideations, whatever it may be, but then something tragic happens to them. And then it's like, instead of saying, well, is it possible that they were actually a victim of a crime versus they self-deleted? This is where the lines get intertwined. So did the PD should have treated this just as a regular investigation before concluding that this is what it was initially and right away? And that's just my thought. I don't know how I feel about this, but okay, let's keep going.
Mr. Marshall, my daughter lives in A&M, and this is the second time that we have moved her from one apartment complex to the next. It's very hard to get out of a lease. You have to find someone to sublease your lease in order to get out. And mind you, where she was living, the girl, it wasn't cheap, so I just don't understand the theoretic mystery to them. I don't understand how they can say so easily, oh yes, it's very normal for people to move out. It's normal to move out when you're guilty and you're hiding something.
Girl.
Yes. But they had not checked camera.
Or if the lease was up, which it doesn't sound like it was. Let me ask you, Ms. Rodriguez, was Brianna ever bipolar? Had she ever been treated for depression?
Okay.
Had she ever
Never.
self-harmed?
There you go. Now they're asking her about her mental health. Okay.
Was she depressed? Tell me about her.
Never. My daughter was full of life. If anything, she was a cheerleader her whole life. She loved to cheer. She loved to be around people. She was so energetic. She kept insisting to me that she was going to graduate early. She was already talking to me about taking the LSAT next year. We were getting ready to order her Aggie ring this next semester. She had just completed 5 classes, which was a big deal, for her, because I actually wanted to pick her up the week prior for a break, but she said, I can't miss class, Mom, on Monday, because if I miss class on Monday, then I'm not going to get an A anymore. I have to do a presentation in person. So I said, okay, Brianna, then, when do you want me to pick you up? And she said, no, Mom, don't worry. Aldo's going to take me home, her boyfriend. So she actually cut short, her vacation because that's just how studious she was. She loved life. She loved her dog. She had a Yorkie. She has a Yorkie named Ava. She had taken her with her to College Station. She loved going on walks with her to Starbucks. She was so studious. When she was studying, that's the only time her phone was on Do Not Disturb, or when she was in class. She never, ever.
So there were times where she would have her phone on Do Not Disturb, right? I never have my phone on Do Not Disturb, but I do ignore a lot of calls, believe it or not. I think that's just too many calls. The other thing to this too to think about, like Pika said, you got to play devil's advocate in certain situations. We don't know all the facts, right? So I'm still kind of like, all right, let me find out more. Yes, there's a lot of sus things here. Sometimes, she's kind of at that age. Schizophrenia tends to peak its head around this time. I think she's 19 or 20. This is around the time where people start having those symptoms. I don't know if she was assessed for anything before that. So I do wonder if when she says she's not bipolar, she's not anything, has she ever been assessed for anything? I've had family members that struggle with schizophrenia. And it's one thing that, kind of, it starts earlier in life, if that makes sense. So I do wonder what overall, had she ever had a mental health assessment before or displayed anything? And she's saying no bipolar, but I don't know. It's not just bipolar. There's other mental health disorders too.
Put that phone on Do Not Disturb. So to me, she was never suicidal. She wasn't.
Ms. Rodriguez, is it true that as early as this morning, Austin PD is trying to close the investigation?
Oh, wow.
Yes. At 9:25 a.m., her father and I received a message saying, we plan to have majority of the investigation concluded by tomorrow and would like to sit down with you and go over all the details we have learned.
Okay. Well, that's why they had the press conference now. It makes sense. That's why they were like, we got to do this press conference real quickly. Okay.
And to answer any questions you have. Mind you, the medical examiner still has not given us a cause of death.
That's what I was just about to point out. How can they determine no foul play when they don't even have a COD, cause of death? She could have been strangled, for all I know, or suffocated with one of those pillows and thrown over the edge.
Exactly. And that's what innocent bystanders are saying. More people are coming out. They're hearing the story. They're recognizing the details that happened that night. And they were passing by. And there's two people in particular that have already come out and posted a video on TikTok and said, we heard that fight. And it sounded like she was fighting for her life. And then she was being covered by a pillow, like muffled sounds. And then minutes later, we see ambulances on the scene because not even her friends called, 911. It was innocent bystanders.
I don't think they have one yet in terms of an autopsy, but if she fell 17 stories, wouldn't that be a great way to mask an assault? Right? Like, she fell. Any of those injuries could have caused, all of that. Wouldn't that have been a great way to mask an assault too? I don't know, man. This case is just okay.
Ms. Rodriguez, we're not letting go of Brianna's death until we know what happened in that high rise. If you know, or you think you know anything about the death of this beautiful young Aggie, Texas A&M star student, Brianna Aguilera, please dial Texas Crime Stoppers. That number is 512-472-8477. Repeat, 512-472-8477.
There's got to be more people that know something. There's got to be, like, I have a hard time. You have a TikToker who did a video talking about, I heard X, Y, and Z. There's got to be more people. Yes. And if they're going to go to the mental health route, I was like, well, the only plain devil's advocate, was she showing signs of schizophrenia? This would be in 1920, early 20s is around the time where young people start showing signs of schizophrenia symptoms and stuff like that. And that is, it's a very hard brain situation that it's just like people have to learn how to live with it throughout their lives, and psychosis follows, and it's a bunch of things, right? And so sometimes college and things like that will trigger certain symptoms that'll get things going. So yeah, I feel like if we're playing devil's advocate as far as a mental health issue, was there anything like this? But they're saying no bipolar, no anything. So it makes you wonder, well, okay, well, where do we go from here? They don't have are they going to say accidental? If she fell 17 stories? But I'm saying, what a way. If somebody is assaulted in a apartment, well, how do you just throw her outside the balcony, and the fall caused her injuries? Very easy to say something like that. Very easy to mask something to that effect. Yes, absolutely. Yes, it does. So it's a thing, but I don't know, if doesn't look like that was the case. She didn't address the deleted message, which is something that was put out there just this morning by the PD. She says she does not have X, Y, and Z. She does not no suicide ideations or anything like that. I don't know, man. Maybe she didn't openly share it with mom. But the other side to this too is it doesn't make sense. There's probably more to this. So why are they so quick to determine when we don't even have a cause of death yet? Why are they so quick to want to close the case? You could look at this both ways, y'all. But I do have to go back and review the interviews and figure out, okay, like, what did mom say here? How many interviews has she done? This is the first one I've seen. I think she did one with the local news outlet, so I'll check that out as well. All right, guys. Yeah, and outside influence too. Absolutely. First of all, oh my God, y'all are amazing. Thank you, Mags. Happy birthday, dear Rabbit. Sorry I'm late because of work, but I'll catch up on the replay. Thank you so much, Mags T. Mark, thank you so much for this super sticker. Happy birthday, Rabbit. You share a birthday with my dearest departed wife. Really? Oh, well, happy heavenly birthday to her as well. Oh, thank you so much, Mark, for this. Wow, really? Okay, James, thank you so much for this, and thank you guys. I do have to head out. We're gonna go live tonight. We'll have some music and we'll chill, and you know what we do on our music lives. I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much, y'all. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys. Hit the like button, guys. Bye. Thank you, guys.